And welcome to the Westpointe Retirement Community presentation that was given on June 22nd, 2023 at the Hampton Hotel in Barhaven. For those of you who attended, thank you very much for coming. Much appreciated. It was a great time, and hopefully, you learned a lot about the community. And for those of you who are new to Riverstone and Westpointe specifically, please enjoy this presentation because it really does give you a lot of information about what the home actually provides and goes into a lot more detail. So, of course, if you were not at the event, you would not be interested in the live music and those kind of things, or the food, I guess. But we'll skip ahead a little bit. We did have some live entertainment there from the Bluesy Swing Duo, and they were excellent. So here we'll go straight into the list of running things. So we're going to go through the layout. We're going to go through amenities, some activities. I'm going to go into a lot more details about all of these. And then eventually we'll end up with the managers' responsibilities. And then also at the end, we'll include the next steps for moving to Westpointe. So let's dive straight into the layout. So as you can see, this is actually the ground floor of Westpointe. And so at the top, I'm not sure if you can see my mouse, which is unfortunate, but at the top would be, on the left is Stranherd, and then the top near the pool, that is actually Maravista. And then you've got Chesapeake on the bottom. And the other road name escapes me right now, but I don't have it in front of me, unfortunately. So we will eventually go through all of these in a lot more detail. But as you can see from the numbers here, we have the lobby and reception area, which is number one, just in the entrance in the middle of the building. And then activity room and demonstration kitchen. We have a hair salon. There's the main lounge. We have a beautiful solarium as well. There's a cafe bar, private dining room, and a regular dining room, a fitness room, saltwater fitness pool, tuck shop, theatre and chapel, library, and computer room. But my favorite part of all of this is actually the next slide, which is the rooftop terrace. So this is one of my favorite things. I'm really excited to be able to do some events up there. Actually, if you see where it says number 5, those are raised flower beds. So they're going to be lots of different sizes. And we do have an all-season lawn, so you'll be able to play some bowls or whatever you'd like to play up there. Maybe some mini putt. Number 3 actually is a bar, and number 4 is the bar and barbecue area, and number 4 would be the seating area with the pergola as well. So nice little fun fact: they've actually made a cutout that we can see the fireworks because they happen every year in the park directly opposite us. So they've actually cut out in between 5 and 4, so you'll be able to see straight off the rooftop and get some front row seats to the fireworks. All right, so we went into a little bit of detail, but I've actually taken some pictures of Foxview. So Foxview is our location on Hunt Club, and it is the last building that we've actually opened before Westpointe opens this fall. The reason why we're showing Foxview is because it is most closely linked to Westpointe in the terms of the size, the finishings and all those kind of things. So I'm going to go through a list of the amenities that we have. So first up is the saltwater pool. I'm assuming you've probably already read what's on here, but just in case, we'll go through it together. So it's going to be 4 foot deep all the way through. We are planning on having aquafit classes. And if you see on the left, just above where it says shallow, we do have a mechanical lift available. And the pool is open every day of the week, but it is not supervised, so no diving in the pool. And then we also have the bar and bistro. Excuse me. It says 3 snacks per day, but I promise nobody's going to be keeping count. It is restocked every day. There's wine and cheese events on Fridays. And of course, we do have other events that we do. For example, Canada Day, they were going around with lots of celebratory snacks and drinks. And we do something called a strawberry social or a melon social, which is basically everything is themed in the same type. And that all happens at the bar and bistro as well. And you can get teas, coffees, juices, water, baked goods all throughout the day. There is also going to be a beautiful library in Westpointe, and there will be computers available. So if you need to still send some emails, or we can set you up with a FaceTime or a Skype call with your family if they're living away. There is a puzzle table and a fireplace. We're looking for some people that might want to get involved in running the library, volunteering to keep it nice and organized, maybe a librarian. And it's a faith based system, so you can take any book anywhere at any time as well. Of course, the men's and women's hair salon, very reasonable prices. They do provide manicure, pedicure, and they're going to be open around 1 to 2 days per week. And we'll assess that with how busy we get at the moment. And you can simply book your appointment at reception, or you can go directly to them as well. We will have blackout style curtains in the theatre. There's actually speakers in the ceiling as well. And we're really open to suggestions from the residents. I think there's such a nice sense of ownership in the Riverstone communities that people, when they tell us that they want to watch a movie of some kind, then it does get seriously considered. Same with guest speakers, same with entertainment. If there's if there's ever anywhere that you'd like to go, you just let us know and we can arrange it. Or so we're very collaborative as well, which is another thing there that I enjoy about Riverstone. We do have guest speakers, we have church mass, we show documentaries as well. So for the activities, I actually will pause on here. I'm still going to speak, of course, but there are actually quite a few pictures. I figured this was the best way to show you exactly what the activities look like. So I've actually gone on the Facebook page and I've taken some pictures from probably 3 to 5 different homes that we have. And of course, we have an activities regional director, and she approves all of the activities. So starting from top left, we had a beer tasting day, and I believe they had wings as well. We had a barbecue, and then there was some art classes. Of course, we had the live band there as well. On the bottom left, this was really such a great idea. This is Sydney, the activities manager for for Foxview, and she had set up a Tim Hortons drive-through, so people could actually go up to the drive-through and walk through. Wouldn't want to be driving through there. And then, she got all the cookies and the donuts and the coffee, and you could literally put your order in and she would bring it to the thing. And she didn't take points, though. I was very upset about that, but we'll have to figure that one out for next time. And we do have a fire pit as well. And there is, as I said in a couple of slides prior to this, we do have raised garden beds. So this gives you an idea of what to look for as well. And this next picture is actually very fun. This was a catwalk fashion show, and we had all of the managers coming out. We had some people from the kitchen, of course, the residents. I believe that lady is actually from our memory care floor. So we really want to get everybody involved in the activities as well. And moving quickly on there, we have the cheese factory and also the bus that we take everybody out to. On the second page, I'm just going to highlight a couple of these because I'm sure you can look for yourself. So, we did do the King's coronation at the bottom left. We have a poker night going on there. Actually, the picture in the swimming pool, that's one of the general managers in the pool with the memory care residents as well. We do have the Cinco de Mayo festival, and that's at the Bar and Bistro just at the top right that I was explaining that we have all the different events. Okay, so of course, we do have many, many people in the building who are independent, and we also have the ability to provide some care for them. So I've actually put together this diagram, which gives you a real clear snapshot of what to expect from the care that we provide. So independent living, this is going to cover all of your basics. And when we say independent, we mean, we still are technically considered to be giving care because we're governed by the RHRA and regulated by the RHRA. So as we go down, you'll understand why I said that. So weekly housekeeping is included: linens, towels, mop, dust, emptying garbages, Kleenex, toilet paper. It's all included for you. And 3 meals and 3 snacks. Like I said, the snacks, nobody's counting them, so don't worry. But with the meals, some people, they don't want all 3 meals, and we are flexible. The reason why I was telling you that we're RHRA regulated is because we do have to provide at least 1 meal because it is technically considered part of your care. However, there is a full-size fridge and freezer and a microwave in the suite, and you are allowed to have any appliances that have an automatic off timer. So you can have a hot plate, you can have a toaster oven, You can have anything like that as well. So, some people, they just want to come for dinner, and they are more than able to do that. Even if they wanted to just come for lunch and they wanted to make their own dinner, then of course they can do that as well. We have access to the underground heated garage, laundry machines on each floor, and every resident receives a pendant for emergencies. And we do also have 24/7 nursing care. So if anything happens, you can rest assured there's going to be someone in the building and they'll be able to help out. So the next level of care here is actually residential living. So from my experience, most of the residents are actually on residential living. And that's because it's a really nice stepping stone to be able to get a little bit of assistance, but nothing too crazy. You're not going to come in and someone's going to be scrubbing your armpits the minute you set foot through the door, right? So we do weekly and daily housekeeping. Personal laundry will actually be completed as well. We can assist with a shower once a week if necessary for you, and also medicine administration. So some people might say, I don't need medicine administration or I don't want a shower. So the way that I would look at that is that it's kind of like a bed and breakfast. So if you didn't go to breakfast in the morning, it was included. You just didn't have breakfast that day. But the minute that you do need the laundry assistance or you do need the bathing, you don't have to pay anything extra for it. It is already included. And that's why we can keep the prices consistent. You'll notice that a lot of other places actually do tend to give you uh, they're not very forthcoming with the prices, unfortunately. I think Riverstone does a really good job at letting people know the long and short of it, and we're very open and transparent about our pricing. There's nothing to hide, and so I think that that's a really great thing as well. And they don't nickel and dime. So what I mean by that is if somebody's receiving bathing assistance or they get 1 hour of care, for example, and then we give them an hour and a half, well, we're not going to charge you for the half an hour of care, right? So once the resident is accepted into the building, their care is included because it will be predetermined with the director of care and also with the resident and the family if they're working with the family as well. But I will explain a little bit more about that a bit later on. So as you can see here, we also have a memory care floor and an assisted living floor. We'll just go over a couple of these items very quickly. So the difference would be that we help with daily and evening assistance with grooming, dressing, and personal hygiene. Assistance with incontinence is included, all of the recreational activities, and also queuing assistance is available there as well. And then, of course, on the memory care living floor, it is pretty much the same. However, they do have their own dining room, their own lounge, same as on the assisted living floor, but it is actually a secure unit on the memory care floor. So the people on assisted, they might be considered needing more physical assistance, but they can still have access to the whole building. But as you've seen in previous slides, even our memory care residents get to enjoy the rest of the building too. So let's move on to the food and beverage. So I've just got some general info here. So you'll see words like, typical meal times or common menu options. This is because we're not open until the fall. So we're not entirely sure about exactly what these times will look like, but we do know from all of our previous 9 homes that this is kind of in the area. It might be subject to change in the future, and if we're busier or if we need to add another seating or something, then we will do. But for now, it is fixed seating but flexible. What that means is there is a seating plan, but if you don't enjoy sitting with Mr. Smith, for example, and you want to change, then you can let us know and we can switch you out as well. So it does happen from time to time. It's not uncommon. It's nothing to be concerned about. People do it, enough that it's not awkward. And sometimes you just really want to sit with someone, right? You might have gone out on a meal with them or a day trip, and you might think, we should sit together for dinner, and you can just let us know. So typical meal times, usually breakfast is around 7:45 to 9 a.m. and it is actually made to order. So you can come in, it's actually open sitting on breakfast, and you can have whatever you want in terms of, bacon, eggs, anything like that, toast, porridge, fruit, and then you can just let us know what you want when you get there. Lunch is a set menu, but we do always have items that you can get all throughout the day. So there's, we can have all the comfort foods like maybe a mini pizza or a grilled cheese sandwich or soup or scrambled eggs, all those types of things. We do have those available all the time. And dinner is usually between 5 and 6. And like it says just below that, this may change once open. So there will be two seatings eventually for lunch and for dinner, and we're able to sit up to 4 people. And then another really nice thing is that when you actually arrive to the building, you'll be met with the food services manager, and they're actually going to go through all of your dietary restrictions with you as well, and we'll try to accommodate them as best as possible. There is a food committee meeting. The food services manager will be there with you, and there are minutes that are distributed as well to people that couldn't be there and also people that were there as well, just so as they can refresh their mind and see the feedback for the next week as well. So some common items for the alternative menu. So the alternative menu has to be ordered before 3 o'clock for dinner. And as you can see, we have things like a 5-ounce beef strip sirloin steak. We have beef burger, we have stir fry. These are just some items that we've seen at other homes that we're likely going to do, but ultimately it will depend on who we bring in and, the general manager, Linda, if she is happy with the menu, she'll work with the food and beverage manager to make it as best as possible. So speaking of managers and responsibilities, I figured this was going to be something that would be quite interesting for people just to kind of have a good idea about what is included in terms of the structure of the building. So who do you go to? Why do you go to them? When do you go to them? Those types of things. So we'll start from general manager. So if we go from the left, you'll see the environmental services manager. So this person will be responsible for the housekeeping and laundry department and also the maintenance and repairs department. So there are actually two departments, and the environmental services manager oversees all of that. Next over, you'll see one of the most important roles that you could possibly imagine. It's the marketing manager. No, I'm just messing with you. Yeah, so the marketing manager, this is what I do for Riverstone and for Westpointe specifically. Very quickly, I did actually work at Oak Park, which was the first Riverstone location that was made. I was working there for a year and a half. At this time, as I record this video, I mentioned earlier, I'm actually in the Foxview location, and we will be moving over to Westpointe as soon as possible in the fall. Just to give you some idea of my interest in the company and why I've decided to stay here as well. Actually, as I go forward, I'll let you know about another couple of employees who have stayed with the company for a long time, and I think that just goes to show how great Riverstone is, in my opinion. So the director of care, they are responsible for the registered practical nurses, the registered nurses, and the PSWs. As you can see on the top next to general manager, it says doctor. So you'll notice I have not linked doctor to anything. And that's because technically they don't work for Riverstone. They don't work under the general manager. They work alongside the general manager. So with the RPNs, RNs, and PSWs, they actually will work with the doctor. They may notice a change in behavior in somebody. They'll contact the family and they'll make an appointment with the doctor, and they'll let them know that something changed when we were going to help this person with their medicine administration. We noticed that XYZ, and it's kind of like a see something, say something scenario. So even if the family are visiting and they notice something different, they can certainly let us know. The doctor is available for any new resident, and they're able to accept patients even still. And they will be coming to the building 1 to 2 days a week. In the previous home I was in, it was Dr. Fari. She was there on Mondays and Fridays. So Mondays for appointments and then Fridays for paperwork. But she was in the vicinity for 2 days, and people found that very calming to have a doctor kind of in-house. So we'll look to do something like that as well, but it will definitely be at least one day. Next up is the activity manager, and they are responsible for the activity assistants and the bus driver. So the bus driver, we actually do some essential services. So we'll do things like one week we'll go to the banks. We'll go to all the different banks if people need to get their banking needs met. Another week we might go to the pharmacies. and another we might go to the grocery stores. But that's not all we do with the bus. In fact, we the main reason for the bus is all of the special activities that we do, like visiting, the Tulip Festival, or going on for a tour of Parliament, or going driving down to Manotick and going to a restaurant. Those types of events. They will all take place on the bus, and it is fully accessible as well. Next up is the office manager, and they are actually responsible for the billing and invoicing, and also they are managing the receptionists. So if you have anything that you need to come to them for their billing, you do get billed in advance. I believe it's 2 weeks. So you should know exactly what to expect on your invoice. And also, I'll go in a little bit into some of the finances in a little bit. We'll go back to that as well. But for now, I'll go over to the food services manager. So I did mention that I was going to let you know of a couple of employees who had been in Riverstone for a long time. And so when I was working at Oak Park, the first Riverstone employee her name was Judy, and she is in housekeeping and laundry. And she has actually been there for 15 years. And the second Riverstone employee, and Riverstone meaning the whole company, was a lady named Samira, and she is also still at Oak Park, and she's the food services manager. So the food services manager, they actually are responsible for the dining room supervisor, all of the kitchen staff, and all of the servers as well. And also, there is one more person. There was actually a nurse called Mercedes. And sorry, just going back there again, she was at Oak Park for 13 years. So as you can tell, people really do enjoy working for Riverstone. So okay, so this is something called Choose Your Neighbors, and transparency. Is it a sales incentive? Absolutely, it is. But I'm of the mind of it's transparency, and it does actually benefit everybody. And I'd like to explain. So this is our referral incentive, and we're doing this. It started on June 22nd, which was the day of the presentation that I gave in person, and it's running all the way through to September 30th. So you can actually get $1,000 each. And what I mean by each is if you refer somebody, you will get $1,000 towards your monthly fee, and they will get $1,000 towards their monthly fee as well. However, there is no limit to how many people you can invite. So the reason why I think that's so important is because let's say you have 5 friends who are on the cusp of wanting to move, and you moved them all in. Well, they would all get $1,000 off of their monthly fee, and you would get $5,000. So it's easily done, especially if there are people that are considering it, much like yourselves if you're watching this presentation. And thank you for taking the time to watch this. I hope it's interesting. I hope it's informative. But yeah, the main concept about this, and just to quickly touch on this, when I was interviewing for Westpointe, I actually live in Barhaven myself. And I was asked why I wanted it. And one of the main reasons was because it was really interesting to think that we're building something from the ground up. I'm going to be driving past Westpointe, let's call it 10 years in the future. Possibly I work there still, possibly I don't. But I'll be driving past knowing that I had an integral part of making that place, building it from scratch. And I think the idea of choosing your neighbors is so important because you really will benefit in all different types of ways. You'll get to live with people that you enjoy. You'll get financial incentives, and also you'll be building something in your community that if everybody is, it's like a selective neighborhood, basically. And just to go back, there was a comment in the meeting, and somebody said, oh, you shouldn't have to do this referral neighbors. I think you'll find that most homes actually do this, but we did make this deal. It used to be $500, but I was able to tug on the heartstrings of head office and get them to up it a little bit for you. So if there is anybody that you want to bring with you, make sure that you reach out to them and contact them. If you want any more information about this, then please do reach out to me. I will give you my information. Actually, I'll give it to you right now, just in case. So here, I'm going to see if we can get a bit technical. I'm going to try and add my email address right now as I write this. So Riverstone retirement.ca. There we go. Hopefully this will pop up on the screen for you. And 3, 2, there we go. So that is my email address. If you need to reach out to me, if you want any information about this or anything else, please do reach out. Hopefully, you already have my email address at this point, but just in case, it's right there for you. Okay, so at this point, maybe you're considering going, or maybe you're just curious and you just want to know what is involved in moving. So I've put together this little list of things as well. So at this time, and it is now the 3rd of July, I hope you all had a wonderful Canada Day. But at the time of making the actual presentation, it was June 22nd, and it would have been September 5th was the 75 days notice. And what that is, basically, Riverstone give the people who have reserved a suite 75 to 90 days notice of move-in. And this will be the 10th community that they have made, and they have never missed an open date. So as soon as you get that notice, you know that you can get moving. You can do the moving companies. You can give notice if you're living somewhere else, and you can start to cancel all of your items. But make sure that you work with me, and I'll explain a bit about that in a second as well, because you don't want to cancel things too prematurely. But that's the time that you'll be able to do those types of things. So the moving date is most likely October, but please do not make any big plans until you've received your notice of residency. I think that's self-explanatory. We will organize a day before open for you so you can actually come in and measure the suite. And we're anticipating a few people might want to switch suites. So we're actually going to have myself and Linda on, we're going to share the 6 floors that we have in the building. And we're going to have one of us on a couple floors. And then basically people can go to the suite, they can take measurements, and then we'll have a central station where people can come and they can say, I actually want to switch my suite, or well, hopefully there won't be too much switching. If I've done my job correctly, then people should be happy with what they've selected. I have been going in, taking pictures, taking videos, and measurements for people. So, but there's nothing like seeing it in person, and we completely appreciate that. That's why our deposit, which is $500 to reserve a suite, actually lasts until open. It is fully refundable at any given point with no interest and no penalty. And we understand that people want to see it. You can't just go based on pictures and those types of things, which is why I think this presentation hopefully is helpful for you, just to give you a little bit more insight as to what is included in the home, because I understand that floor plans, they look great, but it's just a piece of paper really at the end of the day, isn't it? So that said, if you want to come in and take a look closer to the time, there will be ample opportunity. But if you want to guarantee yourself the pre-construction pricing, then I would recommend reserving a suite as soon as possible, just to avoid disappointment. Because let's say that you do reserve a suite and then you come in and you see it and it is the one that you like, then you will have that. But if you didn't reserve it and you came in, there wasn't the one that you like, then you're going to set yourself back. So like I said, there is always opportunity to change, but that's just the reality of it. And I used to be apologetic about letting people know about availability, because I never want to feel like I'm coming across as a salesperson, because I understand that these are some very big decisions that people are making. Sometimes it's the last big decision that they'll make in their lifetime when they come to us, and it's such an honor to help them with that. So I do take this seriously. I really do want to help people. Sometimes people are not a good fit for Riverstone, and I tell them, maybe you should consider, one of our other competitors, because they actually have exactly what you're looking for, and we might not be able to live to that expectation, which hopefully isn't a lot of the time. But I know that the industry is shifting a little bit, which is nice, because it used to be very closed off, used to be very competitive. But I've actually met a lot of our competitors, and I wouldn't even call them competitors. At the end of the day, we're here for the seniors in the community, and that's the end of it. So, but yeah, there's plenty of opportunity to reserve suites. But like I said, I used to be apologetic about the availability. There are some suites in our Westpointe location that we only have one of. There's a suite called the Peacock, for example, and there's only one. So if anybody wanted the Peacock, then you should definitely reserve it. It's not commitment, because you can refund at any time, like I said. So anyway, so what will you need when moving into one of our Riverstone communities? So the physician's assessment is a proprietary form, and it actually is from us to your doctor. And it's just a basic care list, or a health records, and it gives us a clear picture of what you require. So even independent residents actually need to do this as well, just because, like I said, we are technically responsible for your care, even if you're living in the building independently. Because should something happen, we want to know, if there was any clues as to what might have caused a certain series of ailments for you, those kind of things. So the physician's assessment, it's going to include any previous medical conditions, height, weight, all of those types of things. And what happens is the director of care actually will look through your physician's assessment, and they will say, yes, we can take this resident, no problem. They can move in as soon as blank. Or they might say, it's a little bit above what we're able to provide, because sometimes, and very rarely, somebody might be better suited to long-term care. And what that means is, if they need 24/7 assistance or supervision, or if they need feeding, for example, these are some things that we might not be able to provide, but we're very transparent with what we can do. And for the most part, our care is sufficient for most people who do choose to end their lives at Riverstone. And we're very grateful that they chose us to live out their days in our beautiful community. So the resident application is actually basically an aid to the physician's assessment. The resident application will include things like next of kin, emergency contact, your pharmacy number, your OHIP number as well, and all just basic information like that, your address and those types of things. And we put those together and we give them all to the director of care so they can look through your profile. So if you have any prescriptions, we will need the actual copies of the prescriptions. A list of medication will not be sufficient. A list of medication, I could write it and I could hand it to them. So it has to actually have the doctor's orders on it, the doctor's signature. The reason for that is our nurses, they cannot follow any orders other than what the doctor gives, and otherwise they could lose their license. So it is important that we have the doctor's signature on the prescriptions. I will help to get that organized, and I will go into a little bit more detail in just a sec about that. Power of attorney. So even if somebody is, again, fully independent, there is much benefit in having power of attorney, if there is any, because if something should happen in the home, the power of attorney may be invoked, and then that way we can act on it straight away versus having to wait to find out who it was and get them to activate it as well. So the CHIP, RIP, and lease. The CHIP stands for Care Home Information Package, and the RIP is Retirement Home Information Package. So the Care Home Information Package, every single retirement home in Ontario has one of these, and it actually includes all the pricing, all of the additional extras that might come up, like, for example, blood tests or anything above and beyond the regular things that are included in your package. And you do get a full copy. Like I said, we're very transparent. There should be no surprises by the time of move. The RIP is more of your landlord and tenant responsibility. So the things that we're responsible for as the landlords and also yourselves, it's got your rights and responsibilities in there as well. And of course, the lease, they're not properties to buy, they're properties to lease. And that gets populated by myself, and it will be obviously at the amount that we've agreed upon. And I work with you on all of that too. And we do need contents insurance of up to $1 million. And that is easily transferred over from where you are to Westpointe. So how? So basically, I'm in the phase right now of the lease up. And what that means is that, of course, we're not open yet. But when I was working at our other location, and even this one, the residents were already in the building, and there were other staff members, and there were, that was my sole purpose, was to help people to get admitted or to enter Oak Park retirement community, which was also a Riverstone. And that was my main role. So I will actually be going back into that role, but right now we're in the lease up phase, so it's almost the phase before. But I will be helping you to work with everything on the list, and that includes, getting your physician's assessment arranged and helping you do the resident application, everything basically. So that's who you'll be working with for that. Um, so how I will prompt and guide you, like I said, you can give your notice at your previous place of residence if necessary, organize the furniture moves, and we'll coordinate the times and dates with you. So who will you be dealing with mostly? So it will be myself, the doctor, if you're, certainly your doctor, and eventually, if you want to change to our doctor, then you can. That can be arranged before you come. And the reason that we don't use our own doctor for the physician's assessment is because it could be considered a conflict of interest. You'll be dealing with the moving companies, you'll be dealing with your power of attorney if you have one, and you'll be dealing with your pharmacy. And then after the move, each appropriate department will attend to your requirements. So if you recall, we looked at the management structure, and those are the departments that you will be contacting. Of course, if all else fails, you can always go to Linda. Linda will be the general manager there. And Linda's been working with me in Foxview. We have a 2-bedroom apartment. We call it the flat, and we bring people up here. We've got all the floor plans, and we've got it looks very nice actually. So it's just the two of us right now, but we both will be moving over to Westpointe, and Linda will be your point of contact should anything go awry with the managers, which I can't imagine that it will, because Linda actually has been with the company for 10 years. She's very, very experienced, and I'm very grateful to be working alongside her. So we do have some updates to share. So most recently, we just purchased the grand piano, the baby grand piano, which is very exciting. We have a pool table. The minivan has been ordered. The department manager's interview process is underway. We do have, I believe, I'm not sure if I can say this. Okay, we have filled 2 positions in the management company out of 7, which is excellent. I guess 3 if you include myself. And then we have the china and the table linens. We've got the fitness equipment on order as well, and we're preparing the exterior of the building. So I'm not sure if you are familiar with the Barhaven area or where Westpointe is located. We're right opposite the Costco, and we've just got the building signage up as well. And last time when I went there to take some pictures and videos, I was able to park alongside the construction gate, but they've since removed that ability because they're actually starting the landscaping outside and making all the pathways as well, which is great. The interior building signage has also been ordered, so all the door tags and the room names and those types of things as well. So now I've got a couple of pictures for you. These are actually old pictures, but they will give you an idea of, just to get an idea for where we are in the proceedings. So this is the mail room, and then that's actually on the left with the pillar. That will be where the reception is, and then with the green in the middle, just behind the wooden board, that's going to be the solarium. And then there is the back door there as well. And then you're actually looking at the main lounge right there. And this is just another view. Again, the green on the left, the green is on the right, but to the left of the green is the solarium. And then over to the left is going to be kind of the bar and bistro area as well. We do have 3 elevators, which is exciting because we understand when you're trying to get in the building, and you've booked an elevator, and if something ever goes wrong, then we can't use the other one for moving furniture because we still need one for the residents. So we do actually have 3. We're the first Riverstone community that has 3 elevators. So we're very happy for that as well. So we're just going to skip through a couple of these guys here. Getting the tiles ready for the floor. This must be the library because you can see the fireplace in the background there. So all the tiling's been done in the kitchen, and the massive cooker hood has been it's been installed, which is very exciting. It's going to be a beautiful space for the kitchen staff to work. And this is my favorite part. So if you see the bin on the right-hand side that says Serco, keep your eye on that in every picture because it will give you an idea of where you are in the room. So we're currently facing Chesapeake on the left and Strandherd on the right. And we're looking at the private dining room. So there's a beautiful arch window, and it is going to be quite a large private dining room. So if you have any events that you want people to come to, birthdays or Christmases, you can reserve that complimentary as well. So there's that Serco bin, and we're looking in the back corner there again. Strandherd on the right and Chesapeake on the left. And then if you see round to the right hand side, it's actually quite a large dining room, and it is very bright, very open and airy, which is beautiful. And then going to the outside of the building, like I said, they have started to finish up all of the outings, the exterior, and it's looking very, very good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me. I hope I didn't bubble on too much or ramble on. I hope this was enjoyable and informative for you. Again, if you need anything from me, please don't hesitate to reach out. My email address is once again listed at the bottom, jdubovie@riverstoneretirement.ca. Well, thank you so much and have a wonderful day. I look forward to assisting you in the future.